make a prototype, you need to test your prototype. Okay, testing with the user, not only to the user, but some other experts also we will be testing it. So we will be testing, our technical team will be testing, and we will be giving the product to the user to test and collect the feedback from all of them. Accordingly, if any improvisation is required for the product prototype, we will be doing it. If not, we will proceed again. Improvisation in a sense, it is not only on the prototype, it may be even on the ideation or problem statement or even empathize. That's the reason we always say that it is a non-linear process. It is an iterative process, and why it is called a non-linear process, it won't follow any order. After the prototype, it should be only testing. Yes, that is one way, but in the testing, whatever the feedback you receive, based on that, you may have to go immediate next level prototype, or it may be ideation, or it may be defining the problem, or it may be empathy. So anyway you can go, but you repeat the process until and otherwise you get the finest prototype. Once you are fully satisfied with the prototype, only then we go with the implementation. So now we are going to learn about what are all the various ways to test our prototype. Okay, so that's what is going to be done in this unit. Test phase, where we learn about tests for interviews, tests for surveys, Kano model, desirability testing, how to conduct workshop, requirement for the space, material requirement, agility for design thinking. So in this up to testing, it is all about testing part. Okay, so we follow various methods to test. Tests for interview, which means we will be using interview as one of the testing mechanisms. Survey is one of the testing mechanisms, and Kano model is mainly for user testing, usability testing. Okay, so these are the various things we are going to deal in this. So this learning objective and all, you just go through from your book. Yes, testing. So what is testing? Testing refers to the phase in which prototype of a solution is. In the prototype phase, we are creating a model, creating a visual representation of our idea or the solution. Okay, which will be tested as the next phase of your appadina. Your prototype and testing are closely connected. Okay, so once you make a prototype, immediately you have to test. Unless and otherwise you do test of your prototype, there won't be any use. Okay, so that's the reason it is always a closely coupled with the prototype. Tested to determine its effectiveness in solving the problem at hand. So you see that whether the method what you have made for the prototype is a effective one or not. That is done in the phase of testing. What is testing in design thinking? So you have a proper definition, and please remember, in design thinking there is nothing called definition. Only the understanding is important. You understand the concept, and however you want to define, you can define. Many people, when we are getting it is defined as like the brainstorm. Some people will start it is nothing, but some people will describe everything and then say this is what is called so and so thing. However you want, you can define. Design thinking is where inspiration, ideation and implementation. Normally we say this as triple I's. Okay, there are different terminologies you need to know. Inspiration, ideation and implementation meets the need and value of the customer through the non-linear process. So ultimately at the end of the day, what you have to look for is customer needs are satisfied or not. So you inspire the need of the customer, okay, ideate to give a solution for the customer, and then implement the product for the customer. Inspire, ideate, implement, idella eduthu appadina to satisfy the customer needs. Okay, so this will be ended where now it is in the testing phase, right? So this theory part now you just go through. What is the purpose of testing in design thinking? Number one, user compare alternatives. Why we need to, that's the reason we always say when we are explaining about your idea or any prototype or any idea, product, whatever it may be, we ask you always, when it is there, what are you going to do then? What way your idea is going to differ from that? When there is already an existing one which is able to serve the purpose of the requirement, then what for this idea is being proposed. So it is always helpful to make a comparison and test your prototype and see your idea you may propose. Okay, so I may understand something. When you are making the prototype, when you are making the model and show me only, I can say that the same kind of thing is available now. Or in this same thing only a slight modification you have done. Then how it varies, how it is, you will kind of comparison I can make when I do a testing on your prototype. So the first use is user compare alternate user experience the prototype. So when you give a prototype to the user, we will be able to use and see. So because experience of the user is also very very important, that you do it even in the empathize phase. In the empathize also, you collect the experience of the user of their currently existing product or the problem. Correct? It is not always for the new one. It is always I am using paper pen system. I am using a physical classroom system. That is the existing one. With the existing one, what is the problem you are facing? What is the experience you came from that? Through which only we move on to the proposal. Okay? Move on to the innovative ideas. So this testing phase will be able to give the experience of the user. Observe the user. Yes, when you give the prototype to the user, when he is using only, he will be able to observe the comfort and convenience or excitement, delightment of the user. The moment you give something to the, hey, this is very easy. Like suppose this cylinder is there. If you see the person who is carrying the cylinder, delivery person, used to keep it on the shoulder and come and drop it. So for that, if you are introducing something like very easy manner, he can just lift and carry, or kind of lift and then fix that stand. Just if he pushes, it will come. Something like that. If that is the case, it will be of easy. So you make a model and then you fix that kind of cylinder like water can or something like that. You show this is how it is going to work. So how the user is experiencing that I will be observing, or the one who has made a prototype will be observing. Suppose he feels very happy, you are satisfied. Yes, my prototype is successful one. Suppose his structure it is not carrying, is not so good, or it is not working, or I am not able to fix it in that stand, something like some drawback or flaws he is facing now. So that will give you feedback. When you observe the user, you understand that there is some flaws in that. We are not be corrected, so I have to work it on. Got it? So observe the user. So then you make the user to talk about his experience. This is another way. You observe the user and gather the his experience. Next, you ask him to speak about it. Your observation may be, it's my prototype. So slight changes only, he can do it, or it is okay only. With that also he can use it. But if you ask him to talk, he may give negative or positive feedback, or he may suggest me to this handle is not so good, or I'm not something and all, like some cycle or something like that. You hold, if it is not so comfort, we will not be able to ride the cycle for long time and all. Okay, like you are practicing cycling or for physical exercise, something like that, you are doing the cycling, but the handle is not so good, you can't ride the cycle for long time, or the seat is not so good, you cannot sit for long time and ride the cycle, something like that. You may give the feedback. This can be improved, this can be expanded or reduced, or this change can be made, or it is very very good. This itself is so good. Like, however, the prototype is giving them comfort. Based on that, the user will give me the share his experience about the problem. Making the learning out of failure. Suppose you are not getting good feedback at all from the user. Everybody is like it is a waste. It's not good. Okay, it's not good. So it is a failure, right? It is a failure. You put on effort on it. You spend some time. You spend some money on it, but still the prototype is failure. But it's okay. You have to learn from the failure. That is a Chandrayaan 3. Chandrayaan 3 launched successfully. After the failure of Chandrayaan do. They did not stop their process. Okay, so you see the failure and then you make some changes, you do something or think differently, think oppositely, or however that methodology only we are learning. Okay, so you do something, sometimes if you think exactly opposite to that also may work out, or you add something into that may work out. The great innovation we can see always in cooking. Okay, you put more salt, immediately we find some other thing to add over there, so it will be set right. Okay, உப்பு அதிகமாயிருச்சா add tomato juice பண்ணி போட்டு ஒரு கொதிக்க வச்சிரு, இல்ல லெமனை add பண்ணு, இல்ல உருளைக்கிழங்கு கட் பண்ணி போடு. Something your mom is the best innovator in cooking. Okay, so some failure you face, immediately no disappointed. Anyway, in another 5 or 10 minutes I have to serve the food. I cannot cook once again. Make some changes on it. So where do I learn that? I cannot just stop my process when I face the failure. Okay, immediately I find some other, or it's not alternate. I'm not completely keeping it away and finding a new thing. I'm adding or modifying something and getting the things done. Okay, I failed in something and learn from the failure and move forward to the success. Then you need to know one thing, user testing. So far in general we were discussing about the testing. So it is about user testing. You are going to give the product to the user. As I mentioned, the testing can be done within a peer group of the people who involved in innovation. Number one, like IAP and Chipirpingana, you 5 may discuss among yourself. You 5 may test within yourself. You may ask your teachers to test. We are inviting externals to test your product, right? So these are all the various ways. But still, there is no user here. You are making something to the user. Call the user and ask them to check. You are designing something for the school kids now. Take the product to the school kids and then test, collect the feedback from them. That is what is called user testing. It is exclusively tested by the user of that particular product. We say it is a user testing. So in general, testing can be done by anybody. The experts may test, peer group may test, friends group may test, opposite people may test, maybe of anything. But when it is tested by the user of that product, we say it is user testing. Okay. So how do I do that? Recruiting testers. Normally how the testing is taken place. So as we know that, testing is another domain. The one who is making the thing may not do the testing. நம்ம software field ல எடுத்தீங்க அப்படினா testing ஒரு specialized field. Okay, so they will be testing the product. To them we need to give the requirement of that product. இதெல்லாம் இருக்கணும் என்னோட ப்ராடக்ட் அப்படினு நான் ஒரு பெரிய டாக்குமெண்ட்டே ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணி இதெல்லாம் நீங்க சாஃப்ட்வேர் இன்ஜினியரிங் வரும்போது லேர்ன் பண்ணுவீங்க. Okay, so I will be making a big document where I will be specifying everything and will be given to the tester. So tester will be expert tester. He will be testing requirement, system product, whether both are matching. If it is matching, yes, your prototype is accepted. If not, where and all there is a flaw, he will be specifying. So for that I need to recruit the testers. The recruitment can take place online or offline, however you want, you can do it. In-person testing, you can call up the person, say, look at this. In-person testing, you need to clarify your goals, whoever it may be. You are calling a person one by one and testing, or a team of people. Like I am developing a website. Okay, so the website link is given to everybody of your class. So you just use it and give me the feedback. That is the kind of testing for the whole mass. So you may or may not give me the feedback. Everybody will not give the feedback. So that I will give it as one kind of feedback. Then I will know these are the people who can give me the correct comment. Alright? Many people will know, it will be there in mind, but they will not speak out. But some people, they will speak the truth. They will not just, since ma'am is asking, I should not tell the negatives. Some people simply polish, they may just, say something. But some will be able feedback. So one to one I will be calling the user and making tester. I can say tester and make them to test my product. Okay. So based on that I can collect the feedback. So in-person testing. Online test பண்ணலாம், in-person testing via secondary research. When you have constraints, within the short amount of time I need to test, or I am not allowed to meet the people and test. Like I have lot of constraints. It may be a timeline, or it may be like I cannot go out. It is a confidential thing, something like that. There I found with the secondary research, like using blog comments, testimonial, app videos, social media. The people who are having shorts, YouTubers, sometimes they will come, live, they are, talking with the viewers. Most of the time, they will see the comment, right? Comment, whatever the post they are putting, for that they receive a comment. That is a kind of feedback only. That is a kind of feedback where they are not meeting one-to-one. Just it is telecasted and these people are posting the comment. For that they say the reply. We will correct it. The audio is not clear. Video is not clear. You are not fit to dance and all. You are dancing and yes. Huh? So like that and all comment they receive. Based on that they get correct themselves. What are the areas of test to be considered? So where and all, what are all the things to be tested? Number one, of course, prototype needs to be tested. This is in general. Prototype now the entire product could be tested. Okay, and then internally some features could be tested. Overall, I can test, like you are asked to test your website abina, just click on something department visible agada, gallery like that I can test. Sometimes something needs to be applied or some result needs to be checked in a particular menu point, that is working or not. That will ChatGPT whatever you ask it will give the reply. Are all the answers correct? No. Most of the time we don't give the correct, especially it is weak in mathematics. Okay, I have tested many times. Like simply like a time pass only. We solve some problem, we will have the answers with us, and if you ask it, I give a wrong answer, then I raise the query again, what is the explanation for this step? Then it will correct or it will give some other answer and say, I apologize for the above context. You get my point? So what we are doing, overall it may be good. Something statement wise, some theoretical thing if you ask, it may give. And it has cheated me many times for my NPTEL answers and all. Okay, so that is where I learned I cannot trust this ChatGPT. So overall if you see it is good, but if you go in depth on a particular thing, then you will understand. Same way, prototype, when you say this is how it is going to process, you may understand. But when you touch a particular domain, particular function, particular part of your prototype, then it may not work. Okay, so the prototype only can be tested when situation and future happening. Suppose this is the prototype which can be utilized during summer. Okay, kind of it has the property of melting. Okay, melting property is there. No, it can be utilized on any situation, but when the temperature is too high, that may melt. If that is the case, what will you do for your prototype? That may be the question asked. Okay, so this is functioning on power supply. When the power goes, what will you do? So these are all the testing criteria. When the situation is changed, when in future it happens, so what will happen? You are investing so much on that. When you are making a product, suppose if the future happenings are going to be totally different, what are you going to do? Okay, so these are all the things asked while testing your prototype. Interaction with the user. You give the prototype to the user, interact with the user, and sometimes do not disturb the user. Like when you keep asking something, it will be kind of convincing them. Correct? So you give something, and before they could think about something itself, you kept on talking, talking. Many times we are, cheated like that only when you go some shopping and all. You don't want to buy something, but they kept on talking about that thing. It is a kind of disturbance, but still you like and buy the thing and come off. After coming back, you realize that it is not at all necessary, but why did they buy that? Correct? So in the same way, when you are asking your user to test your prototype, you should not disturb them. Interaction is required when he is required, or it is a kind of interactive prototype, it is required. Otherwise, you should not disturb the user. So these are all the conditions you need to follow while testing the user. Why is the testing phase important in design thinking? I hope you would have understand now. Testing is important. Suppose if any correction is required, any improvisation is required for the prototype. In the full level. Yeah. Best practices for effective prototype testing. So from here you need to give little more attention, Monesh. Best practices for effective prototype testing. Number 1, define clear goals. What and all my product is going to give you. What and all I expect or I am going to give from my prototype. Based on that, you have to set the goal. These are all the things will be given by my prototype. So you need to test all these features. Unnecessarily, you are giving some product and they are asking something else and all from that. That is not possible. Okay, when you are testing a prototype, what is the goal of that particular testing? Ennala na test pannanu modula. Suppose I am using some existing product into my new product. Okay, adu sub components நான் யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது அந்த காம்போனன்ட் ஏன் அப்படி இருக்கு அப்படிங்கற क्वेश्चन நீ கேட்க முடியாது because that is not my task. I am using it for this purpose. அவ்வளவுதான். ஓகேங்களா? ஏன் ப்ராடக்ட் ஏன் புரோட்டோடைப்ல என்ன, what is innovation in that, what is uniqueness in that, that alone you get tested. Using that I am going to do something and you have to accept it. There you cannot raise the question on the existing one. Okay, set the goal for your testing. Test early and often. So frequently from the beginning of making the prototype onwards, we should test it. That's early testing. Sketching la testing ஆரம்பிச்சிரோம். Sketching, அடுத்த physical model, அடுத்த some other things you are including in that. As and when you add the things into your prototype, you have to test it. Test early and often. Use realistic scenarios. அதாவது வந்து some people used to tell man foreign ல யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். Foreign ல யூஸ் பண்றதுக்கு why are you making it here? Why this why we talk about, because we need to start lot of startups in India. That is the reason this entrepreneurship is educated to you. ஒரு சிஸ்டத்தை என்னால இந்தியால இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. We can only implement in some other countries. Now it is not required. So it should be a realistic scenario. India நம்ம ஒரு ரோட்ல நீ ஒன்னு பண்றியா? Yes, we can test it. We can encourage it. Okay? அதான் use realistic. Test with the right people. And you are making something for exclusively the mechanical students where they have learned more about the machines. அப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட்டை கொண்டு வந்து I am asking pure computer science IT people to test it now. What do you see? It happens even for us. Suppose if we are called as a judge for some event which is not at all connected to us, we cannot raise any question. They will be impressed whatever they do because we don't know technically anything in that. So when you are testing a prototype, call the right people to test it. Observe the behavior. While testing itself, you have to observe the behavior. Sometimes that you can see the external when they come and see your thing and all, they'll be happy and they'll be like they don't spend time with you. The moment they look at, if they are not impressed, okay fine. Like that they will proceed. Like the way how they behave towards your prototype or your product. Okay? So that needs to be observed. Be open to feedback. This is very, very important. It's like suppose I am telling you something or I am asking you in the convincing manner if I give you something, or I am not at all open to you, I am very rigid, very strict with you, where you cannot open your mouth, right? And I am asking about how is my teaching, or you want anything, something like that, you cannot talk unless and otherwise I am friendly with you. Correct? So when I am testing my prototype with the user, I should open to hear any kind of feedback. When I hear the negative feedback, immediately I will be down or I will show my face like that. They will not be able to see it, right? So anything, yes. So to know or to improvise your prototype, you should be open to receive your correct feedback, right? Prototyping to production. This you will learn later. Implementation of service design. Say there are two kind of product, as we know, right? Product now physically visible product, another service based product. Okay, so any service, anything you make a software, you make an application, or you make a security system, that also is called a product only, but they are all called a service. Can you please tell me one company which is a product based company in Chennai? Any one company which is a product based company, they are making the products. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கம்பெனி சொல்லி பார்க்கலாம். சாரி, என்ன பண்றாங்க? வாட் ஆர் தே? TVS. சூப்பர். சரி, இது நம்ம சாஃப்ட்வேர்ல சொல்லுங்க. Zoho. Zoho is a product based company. Service based companies, Amazon, TCS, CTS, இதெல்லாமே Amazon. இவங்கெல்லாம் service based companies. So இதுல you need to understand that they make a particular software and give you. That is their product. Okay? Here they use that and do it. இப்போ நம்ம TCS ஓட various software are used in passport or various government based companies la நம்ம யூஸ் பண்றோம். They are giving the service. Okay? So service is different, product is different. So when you are testing it, listen, when you are testing the prototype, if it is product, அதுக்கு ஒரு மாதிரி டெஸ்டிங் இருக்கணும். If it is service, அதுக்கு வேற மாதிரி டெஸ்டிங் இருக்கணும். So that is very important. The implementation of service design ideas may involve several steps. Service design exclusively we follow some steps over there: planning, resource allocation, testing and refinement, training, rollout, monitoring and evaluation. So these are all the steps exclusively used for the service based designs. Okay. How to manage service design projects? How are only put up that?